We might hop on and have a special stream to watch part 2 of this video. This is just part 1. I'll link part 2 for you guys if you guys want to watch it. If you haven't watched it, I'll link it for you guys. But maybe we'll have another stream sometimes this week to watch the second part of this. This is about the big ugly bill. This is about what it actually does.
We live, for reasons I won't pretend to understand, in an age when the only truly bipartisan idea is that landmark legislation demands triple B alliteration.
I believe Petrazi, welcome, first of all, Petrazi, welcome. But I believe you got that from Maitesh. Maitesh, I think, might have gifted you that membership.
Idea is that landmark legislation demands triple B alliteration. President Joe Biden's signature proposal was Build Back Better. Now President Trump has yoked his presidency, yoked all.
Build Back Better, too, in its original form. I think I heard Kyle Kalinske say this, and I agree with this. If Build Back Better got passed in its original form, if it wasn't for Kristen fucking Sinema and Joe Traitor-ass Manchin, if it wasn't for those two garbage-ass, wannabe, fake-as-fuck lefties, if it wasn't for them, I bet you money that Kamala Harris would have won. The economy would have been better. People would have had daycare for their kids, paid family leave. There's so many things in the original Build Back Better that were, like, absolutely amazing. Now, I will say this. I will say that Joe Biden made a mistake naming it the Build Back Better plan, because there was already, and I didn't know this because I don't know about all these stupid fucking conspiracy theories. I don't take a lot of that shit seriously. But somebody said, they came onto one of my videos and they're like, this guy sounds like a Klaus Schwab acolyte. And I was like, I don't even know who Klaus Schwab is, dog. I was like, I hope he's a good person. And all these conspiracy fucks had decided that Klaus Schwab was doing this crazy shit. And his whole forum was Build Back Better. So I do think that even though he had the right idea, because he was trying to, Klaus Schwab was talking about the fact, I do know something about him now, just so you guys know, that, helping equality become a reset for the world, a time of reset with COVID in which we could, bring back the ideas and values of, helping people do better. And so the idea of Build Back Better was great. But unfortunately, it came with this tag of the taint that these conspiracy theorists had put on the term Build Back Better. So I think that you could have done that better. But I do believe if Build Back Better would have been passed, that we would be living in a different age right now.
All of us. To his
big, beautiful, that gorgeous, big, beautiful bill.
I'm actually.
Let me suggest another name for it.
Squish.
I'll even stay on trend. The big budget bomb. I'm recording this on Wednesday, May 21st. It's always possible things will change.
It is Thursday, May 22nd. It is 7:01 on the East Coast, and we've got breaking news. Moments ago, the House just passed President Trump's big, beautiful bill.
The bill is passed.
President Trump with this reaction. Now it's time for our friends in the United States Senate to get to work and send the bill to my desk as soon as possible.
But as of right now, the damage this thing will do to the budget, if it detonates, is hard to properly convey, in part because the size of this thing is hard to properly convey. And the budget, to be honest, is only where the problems this bill...
And you guys like that too? You guys like that when they were trying to push the CR, right? With all the exceptions for cancer treatment for children or research of cancer treatment for children, all that stuff. What did they say? They said all bills should be so small that they should be easy for a person to ingest and read in a good amount of time. This bill that they're trying to push through is 1,000 pages, and it is done intentionally. Every accusation is a fucking confession. They didn't want that CR to go through with all of those things because they don't want America researching childhood cancer. They don't give a fuck about it. They want to spend their time fake researching autism. They want to keep you distracted while they do dumb shit and steal money from you. The hypocrisy of saying that CR needed to be cut down to only 70 pages because people had to be able to read it and ingest it in time, yet then pushing through a 1,000-page bloated bullshit bill. Like, I see you. I see what you're doing. I ain't falling for that shit. I'm not a Trump supporter.
I love the poorly educated.
Would cause begin. When you're thinking about the size and cost of legislation, you got two different sides to keep in mind. How much the bill costs, either through new spending or tax cuts, and how much of that cost is paid for versus added to the debt. The Inflation Reduction Act was expected to cost about $500 billion over 10 years. And it paid for that spending and more through tax increases. The Affordable Care Act was expected to cost about $1 trillion over 10 years. All of that, again, paid for. Trump's 2017 tax reform bill, when you added everything up, left an estimated $1.5 trillion of tax cuts unpaid for.
Yeah, that's an old
The big budget bomb exists in a class unto itself.
Yeah, $5 trillion.
According to the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, which I think nowadays is Washington's saddest advocacy group, if you take seriously the permanence the Republicans are actually seeking, the big budget bomb will add about $5 trillion to the debt over the next decade.
They're full of shit,
That is an insane number. You remember when Trump promised to balance the budget?
I want to do what has not been done in 24 years. Balance the federal budget. We're going to balance it.
Yeah, who balanced that budget? Who balanced that budget?
I also remember that. That happened in March. I've been talking about what the bill does to the budget. But here's what this bill does.
They don't care, man. They don't care about people. I mean, that shouldn't come as a surprise. They're the anti-people party, man. Like, they are the party of me, not the party of we. And the fact that Republicans somehow, regardless of the fact that every time a Republican president is in office, they bloat the fucking debt to insane proportions. Despite the fact that that happens every fucking time, these people still claim that they are concerned about the American debt. It's fucking mind-boggling. I sit there and I try to think, because I'm a stupid fucking person. I think that I can make sense of shit. I think if I can just sit here and think about it for long enough from their point of view, I'm going to figure out what these people are thinking. And not a single time can I come up with any answer other than these people want someone to hate. They want somebody to be the reason that they're failing at life. These people don't care about facts or statistics or reality. All they give a shit about is thinking that someone else, somewhere else, is the reason that they're not doing okay. It's so fucking wild. Donald Trump added $4 trillion to the government debt before his CARES Act. He added another $4 trillion after. He added 30%. Donald Trump by himself is in some way or another. He's the man who made almost 30% of our debt happen. That's fucking insane to be the party of we're going to balance the debt. And over his 2 terms, he is estimated to add $13 to $15 trillion of debt to America. How do you fucking defend that?
In the real world, it cuts taxes, mostly for richer people. It cuts Medicaid and food stamps. Republicans are also allowing some Obamacare subsidies to expire. And so the estimate is that between all this, 13 million people, 13 million, will lose health insurance. It's also grimly exact. The bill has $1.1 trillion in tax cuts for people who make more than $500,000 a year. And it has $1.1 trillion in cuts to Medicaid and food stamps. It is a straight transfer from people who cannot afford food and medical care to people who can afford to fly first class. The bill also guts the tax credits that support the wind, solar, electric vehicle, and nuclear power industries.
Just so you guys are aware, and nuclear power industries. Once again, some shit that fucking Republicans consistently sit there and talk about. Like, oh, the reason the left is stupid is the left doesn't understand that nuclear power is actually better than green energy. And I'm like, oh, that's really funny you say that, because actually I'm a supporter of nuclear energy, and I agree. I think that we should be moving more towards nuclear energy that is up to date technologically, not old shit, up to date. Why do you think they do that? Because these motherfuckers are shills for the oil industry, and they don't actually believe anything that they say. They do not stand on any principle. They do not have morality that grounds them in the things that they believe. These are people that if you wave a alleged $5,000 Doge check in front of their face, they don't give two shits if you fire veterans. They don't care if you ruin, what is that town in West Virginia where it's the largest employer, the budget place in West Virginia. It's the largest employer in this small fucking town that has been absolutely demolished by the loss of industry. The largest supplier. And they fired like 100 fucking people from there. These people don't actually have any grounding in the things they believe. It's just one time they were hurt. One time somebody said something and blamed it on somebody else and they agreed. One time somebody took advantage of their anger and they used vitriol and rhetoric to properly position them to look across the aisle at the person that's trying to help them, trying to give them UBI, trying to give them health care, trying to help people that legit hate them. One time they did that, and they said, for life, I'm always going to stand with this person. That type of loyalty is actually kind of fucking impressive. It's something you don't see on the left. On the left, you see people consistently having people that are trying to work a lot for them. People like AOC. People like Bernie Sanders. And in the moment that they don't say Bernie Sanders, stand up and say that, you know, Israel has to leave Palestine, they'll say, fuck Bernie Sanders. It's actually kind of impressive, that loyalty. I don't like it. It's very cult-like. But I am impressed.
China will be thrilled by that. When you think about this bill, you should think about risk. This bill increases our risk of a fiscal crisis. What if all these other countries we're alienating, all these investors we've been scaring, stop buying our debt even as we are creating trillions more in debt we're going to need them to buy?
That's what's happening right now, too.
This bill increases the risk any of us face if we can't afford healthcare or food for our families. If Trump's tariffs cause a recession, this bill gutted the safety net millions of us would have relied on for help.
Yeah, we will.
It pumps tens of billions of dollars into ICE detention facilities and deportation capacity.
All because you're
so it
scared.
raises the risk faced by immigrants or anyone else caught up in the administration's mass deportation and detention operations. Look, I've been a policy journalist for more than 20 years. I've covered more bills than I can count. I cannot remember a crueler or more irresponsible piece of domestic legislation that has been seriously proposed. And its sins are compounded by its size. If the Republicans' big budget bomb goes off, we are all in the blast radius.
Wow. Spot on. And just so you guys know, too, this was part of Project 2025. For those of you guys that don't remember, the whole idea of Project 2025 was that they were already working on all those executive orders that Donald Trump has been signing. They're already working on all of the policies that would be included in the big, beautiful bill before he was elected. Do not forget, this is an anomaly. This isn't out of the ordinary. This isn't just chaos. It was all planned. It's right there in Project 2025. Go back. It's not light reading. Apparently, it's smaller than the big, beautiful bill. But go back and read it. The idea was in the first 100 days to push through every single bit of legislation that they could before things got bogged down in the courts. The idea was that they were to get the House and the Senate, and that they would push through all of their legislation before the midterms. And then you got to ask yourself, why would they be in such a hurry? It's because they knew this was going to be deeply unpopular with not just Democrats, but all of middle-class America. And they knew if they didn't get it done before the midterms, they weren't going to be able to get it done because Americans were going to elect Democrats. So keep that shit in mind. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and check out that video on the screen now.